Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler. I am live in San Francisco, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. How is everybody doing today? How was your weekend? How was your weekend, comic book retailers? Probably not very good, and we will get to that in a little bit. It was kind of a slow news week, other than that. Well, I mean, despite the fact, if you're a comic book retailer and a comic book fan, one of the biggest storylines in years got spoiled by the New York Times, and it's going to cost comic shops thousands of dollars, hundreds collectively of customers. DC, which has been running on tons of goodwill, I don't think this is broken. The DC fans are DC fans, and they're loyal, and that's great, but they're upset, and they should be upset. And to say that people shouldn't be upset over this is, I just don't go down the Star Wars Ghostbuster road. Just like, let the people say their piece and say, I'm sorry you feel that way. We'll do better next time, and everything will be fine. If it turns into a Twitter battle, it's craziness. What I'm talking about, I've done a video on it, is the New York Times spoiled the ending for Batman number 50. Batman and Catwoman were supposed to get married, and gosh, I packed everything up. So I'm going to have to get my backup sign here. This is going to be spoilers, although it's, there you go. Spoiler alert. So yeah. So Batman and Catwoman are supposed to get married. There was all these events. There was going to be a midnight opening for some shops on July 4th. Correct me if I'm wrong, Feisty, on any of this information, because I'm currently not a retailer. I'm a former retailer. I used to own the Comic Outpost in San Francisco for 10 years. I've done a lot of stuff. I've delivered auto parts. I've edited stuff for Disney, worked in the warehouse records, and my first job was flipping burgers at Burger King. So there, enough of my history. This was a horrible move. I don't understand why they did this, but the New York Times went out and spoiled it. Of course, I've done a video on it. You can go check it out. Feisty has done a great live stream on it. Feisty fan, please, for one, like, share, and subscribe to Feisty fan. She's on YouTube. I'll put when this turns into a video, I'll put a link to her YouTube channel in the description. I recommend that all of my subscribers and mine Dennis subscribers subscribe to Feisty. Okay. She is 100% approved by the Nerdrotic channel. And there's some other news that we're going to get over to today. I was just peeking at the Westworld ratings, which were not good. Preacher ratings are kind of cratering. We have fandoms fighting. Ratings for most shows are going down. There's lots of reasons for that. But the question I'll put out to you, and believe me, this will be a mostly positive live stream. We're here to just chill out. I didn't do a ton of preparing. Actually, I'm supposed to be in Sausalito right now. My wife surprised me last minute, and we are going to be staying in a very nice house up in Sausalito for the week. Because later on, when I go to con, we're going to be away from each other for a couple weeks. So she decided that we needed some us time, but she is a very cool wife. And I decided to do the live stream from the studio, but all future streams this week will be from house in Sausalito, which the funny story is this house does do live stream. The people, I will not say their names. They do live streaming in their house. But it's not like YouTube live streaming. It's another kind of live streaming that's very popular. Yeah. So I'm going to let you use your imagination on that one. I wonder if they have a good camera, though. Maybe I could borrow their camera, but I'm not going to borrow their studio. Hell no. Yeah. So yes, you guessed it. You guessed it, Feisty. You win the no prize. Well, hey, very respectable couple too, I might add. But they got a good side gig. It's a side gig economy, folks. Got to do what you got to do. And we do not judge here at the Nerdrotic channel, nor do we do it in the wonderful chat. But yeah, my wife told me that this morning. She's like, "Oh, you won't need to bring any of your equipment. They have equipment." I'm like, "What?" And she told me, and I'm like, "I'll bring my equipment. That's cool. I don't want to use any of their equipment, if you know what I'm saying." To each their, exactly, Feisty. Yeah. So where was I? Okay. So the question I pose to all of you out there, we can muse over this or not. A lot of the talk, a lot of the arguing in fandom, be it Star Trek, Star Wars, freaking Transformers, whatever's going on, Marvel Comics, is concern for the brand, like damaging characters. And some creators out there and some publishers and some content creators have done some damage to classic characters. And the fans have been fighting back, trying to protect the things they love. But the question I have is this, as the fighting gets more serious, and it does, I mean, it's not getting to fisticuffs or anything like that. But there's enough people pissed off to where other channels are growing, basically just on the rage. And does this do damage to the overall brand of nerd, of geekdom, of everything we love? Again, I pose that question not knowing an answer to it. I think a lot of that is necessary right now. Honestly, that's what drew me back into YouTube was not being happy with Marvel Comics. And then I just followed the rabbit hole and ended up here talking about television, which, quite frankly, this is kind of the best place to be for anything genre. I still think is television. While there is some bad television out there, there's so much good television, and that's what we try to do here, is cover the good stuff. We did get called out a little bit for not covering everything genre, because we are a genre channel, but we try to cover good stuff. I don't want to sit and bash something. I mean, we're kind of in a conundrum right now currently, because we're only covering 2 shows, and I'm not like the biggest fan of one of them. I'm trying to be, but it's really hard to enjoy Cloak and Dagger. I'm semi enjoying Preacher, but I took a look at the ratings for Preacher, and in the 18 to 39 demo, they got 200,000 viewers. I mean, there's YouTubers in our community who are getting more views than that on a single video. So a couple people called Movie Fanobi. It was in the comments. A couple people called us out. We get called out for a lot of stuff in the comments. So, I mean, I don't take it as a general consensus or the majority people calling us out. We rarely get called out. I'm surprised. We don't get more shit than we do, to be honest with you. I mean, like, okay, last Friday's podcast was probably the most divisive since our Star Trek Discovery recaps. I don't know if you guys were with us during the Star Trek Discovery thing, but wow, we lost subscribers, but then we would lose 10 and gain 20, and it was really weird. And we got the most thumbs down, but honestly, those were some of the funnest videos to do. I hate to say, but it was reminiscent of that last Friday. I really enjoyed last Friday's podcast. It's not something we're going to do on a regular basis because it got pretty controversial. We do like to be a light, airy place to come and have fun conversations and talk about shit. Like, honestly, probably won't get the most clicks in the world, but I could talk to Doomcock about, I was serious last Friday about soundtracks for 3 hours. I fucking love soundtracks. So yeah, we love Doomcock. Okay, Doomcock's always welcome here. He has the keys to Nerdrotic channel. He's welcome back whenever he wants. And we are going to have other guests on, and they are free to say what they like, and we are free to disagree with them. I do not agree with I don't agree with my wife on everything. So it's cool to disagree here. We're a fun bunch. So Susan was on fire too. Susan was fucking amazing on Friday, man. She had the episode of her life. So after Friday, I'm like, oh man, I'm so glad we have Susan here. I really am. I'll be honest with y'all. Friday night, the podcast, it's a tough one, because it's Friday night for our family, but it's actually my Thursday because I work Saturday. So that's why I justified doing a podcast on Friday night. But sometimes the wife wants to go out. So she's been very understanding about Friday night. And if it wasn't for Susan, I was going to nix it altogether. I was going to get rid of it. But Susan saved it, and it's turned into quite a thing. And I'm very happy about that, because Friday night is essentially how this channel started, was me and Dennis just talking about news for 2 or 3 hours, very inconsistently for 3 years. And we kind of got our shit together a little over a year ago. And that's what we have today. So let's get to the chat here. uh, yeah, I kind of, you know what, JP? Sometimes I like, yeah, I call me out, please. Like, disagree with me, like, because I love to hear feedback. You know who's great with feedback is Viking Bitch. That's why she is the pretty much official show producer. I mean, she is not afraid to say what's what, and I respect that, because you know there's people who just, you know, and everybody has to deal with this with the YouTube channel. It's like they'll call you a dick, or you know, make some attack, and that's fine. That actually makes me laugh. But when somebody actually takes the time to write down, hey, I have this concern, love you guys, but da da da, I don't take that offensive at all. I take that as like somebody took the time and like to their own time to give us a suggestion, and I respect the hell out of that. So yeah, come at us with suggestions, and if you think we're doing something stupid, yeah, let us know, because we don't know all the time. So yeah, like I'm a YouTube I'm not even an adolescent. I'm a YouTube toddler. So I'm trying to test boundaries of the audience and everything to see, like, well, how can we make this thing grow? It's just like owning a business, okay, which I have done. And you test boundaries. You see how far you can go. Sometimes you overreach, you fuck up, and hopefully you don't do so. You try to do it in little increments so you don't crater yourself. But that's what we try to do. Thank you, Dakota. You want an insult? You scruffy looking nerf herder. Who's scruffy looking? Hey, by the way, it's trimmed. It's trimmed. It was so horrendous. I apologize. It's actually going to get trimmed some more. I'm just going to have a normal beard because I am not a hipster douchebag. I'm just a regular old douchebag, you know, just garden variety, but not hipster. Thank you, Dakota, for the $5. Okay, so 15 minutes late today because I finished shipping out everybody's package. I've got one more. It's an international shipment, so I have to actually go into the post office and get everything set up. You know who you are. Well, I can say it. It's Morks. So Morks, if you're out there, I've never sent to your country before, so if there's any problems, let me know. I have like multiple backups for you if your package doesn't make it. We'll get it to you somehow, okay? And I want to tell you right now, patrons, if you're international, it's cool. We got you. The shipping's on us, okay? And if you're on the moon, that might be a little bit of a problem, but anywhere else, we got you. All right, so okay. Let's get to those Westworld ratings. Westworld has been a very divisive subject. It was a divisive episode. I'm going to stay on the content of it. I look at Westworld as a Twilight Zone, so I didn't want to judge it unfairly until I saw the last second of the last episode, because they could have, you know, wound everything up in a very intelligent, cohesive way. Left us hanging on stuff, fully expected to be left hanging. I was, and I don't think it's like unfixable. I think they can totally fix this and make me look like an idiot for not liking it, and I'm totally okay with them doing that. But yeah, I mean, like, it's good to take risks. It really is. But what I would have done is I would have taken risks with a couple of storylines, not all of them, which is what they did. And the ratings here, let's take a look at the ratings real quick. I know this is boring stuff, but I actually don't think it's boring. So you could see the ratings consistently go down as the season goes on. There was a little bump in the William episode, but look at that finale. Okay, this is all right. So not to sound too egotistical, but our content here is pretty much the same. You know, people like us, they don't, whatever. Sometimes we have bad shows, sometimes we have great. But as far as our recaps, I think we're pretty consistent with our recaps. So you could see, you could judge an interest in a show by the views on our recaps. You can. They line up with ratings pretty damn well. So the Sunday, and we're going to talk about the 18 to 49 demo. That's what most of us are in on. That's the one they really, really want. And this is just overnight ratings. And I know overnight ratings suck, but it's a good precursor, I guess. They had a 0.89. All right. A 0.89 is not even 1 million. Okay. As it extended out, they had 2 million viewers. Okay. And I think that's after 3 days and DVRs and stuff like that. Then it's consistently goes down. And look at that, man. What was it? Episode 7. had a 0.37. The thing is, though, they stayed pretty strong when it extends out, but they're still off. The finale, usually finales, if people are interested in a show, will double the ratings of the premiere. Okay. This did not happen. They got a 1.5 million watching as opposed to 2 million now. I don't know what the streaming stuff is or anything, and they're not going to cancel the show. But if anybody just wants some direct evidence that people were not happy, this is it. This is it. And there were some people not happy from the get-go on this one. I gave it a good chance. I still like some stuff. The Aki, the Ghost Nation stuff was amazing. That was one of the best episodes of the series. I liked at the start what they did with Teddy. I really hated what they did with him at the end because I thought he was a great character that was unused. But yeah, so Westworld in trouble. Preacher is in much worse shape. Much worse shape. If I can get there. And if you guys want to talk anything, just pop up. I don't have tons prepared today, but we have the afternoon. I love how Preachers, I'm going to show you this. This is probably not the best tagline for your show. I wouldn't recommend any show don't watch Preacher. Okay. It's funny and ironic and yeah. People might tend to listen. Okay. So they don't have last night's up. I think last night's was probably abysmal, even though it was a decent episode. Look at that 18 to 49 demo. It's 200,000 people. It's off 50% from the premiere of season 2. So yeah, this is your last season of Preacher. Enjoy it. That's it's done. And it has Dominic Cooper, Ruth Negga. I'm forgetting the guy whose name who plays Cassidy. It has an outstanding cast. Like one of the best casted shows ever. They cut the budget. And it just feels kind of meandering. I don't know. What do you guys? Am I being too hard on it? Am I being too hard on Preacher? Maybe. I don't know. Let's get to the chat. Enough of me babbling. Oh, whoops. And then we'll also talk a little bit about this Batman 50 thing. I really want to recommend. Hopefully, Feisty and I can talk about it. I'd love to talk to you about it, Feisty. Maybe we can get comics on and we can do something on his channel or your channel. I don't know. People don't really dig the comic book talk, which is so funny on our channel. Like some people like it, some people don't. It's okay. I've never heard of Preacher before, so not surprised. I'm a bit afraid about Counterpart since no one knows about it either. Hope they will keep it since it's on the cheap. Yeah, Mako, I think they will too. And I'll let you know at Comic-Con. The one place Stars really does promote their stuff is Comic-Con. They do a great job. It's currently filming, but that's currently filming is when you're able to get panels at Comic-Con because that's when everybody's together. So they break production for a couple days and fly everybody out. Hopefully they will have that. Doug, I'm with you. I am 48 going on 15. Yeah, I'm a little worried about Counterpart. Did you hear about the Halo series going on Showtime? It's like, woo, that's going to be expensive. I'll check it out. I don't play the video game, but I like the story. I like the story, so I'll definitely check it out. Let me know if my stream is bad because my son is home. My oldest, he's playing League of Legends right now. So you probably hear him babbling in the background. No one will like every chat, Mako. Glad you're reasonable. I'm glad you're reasonable too, Mako. And I saw what you took umbrage with, and yeah, I don't agree either. I don't. Yeah, not a fan of either of those people, and I don't watch their movies. HBO is not hurting for money. Westworld will get 5 seasons no matter what. It's about pleasing Jonathan Nolan. Yeah, Mako, you're damn right. The Nolans have carte blanche in Hollywood. They can do whatever the hell they want. They've earned that right. and I think they are allowed, yeah, they're allowed to do whatever they want because they've put out like mostly some really great, great, great movies. I can only think of one subpar Chris Nolan or movie that I didn't like very much from Chris Nolan, which was Dark Knight Rises. I even liked some of his other stuff. No, Insomnia. Insomnia. I wasn't a big fan of Insomnia. Funny story about Insomnia. My wife and I went and saw that. It was in an empty theater. It was me and some other guy, me, my wife, and some other guy. And that other guy was sawing logs. He was snoring in the film Insomnia. And God, why didn't I freaking video that? But true story. International trendsetter. Also, if you need to send something to the moon, ask Doomcock. Oh, that's right, Dorton. I almost said Dorton. What's up, Dalton? Yeah, that's right. He can fly it there. He can get one of his robots to take it there. Mickey, you didn't like the Friday night chat. Yeah. Well, thanks for not unsubbing. We appreciate you being cool about that. That is not going to be something that's going to be a regular occurrence here. Don't worry. You know, and to defend Doomcock, it's like, you know, this is my channel, so I allowed that shit to happen. All that's on me. Doomcock usually is very aware of where he is. Okay, so like it, you know, if I tell him it's cool, you know. But you don't have to agree. Yeah. And no, Friday night's supposed to be fun, and we're gonna keep it that way. We're gonna this Friday night, this coming Friday night, we're not doing any negative stories. We're gonna kind of keep it light. I've got some fun ideas. Yeah, Dennis, poor Dennis. He was really, really sick. Like, who gets sick in the summer? But he's like, you know what? And he works in like the most sterile area on planet Earth, practically. He works with I won't say exactly where, but he works with scientists in labs and stuff. And part of his job is making sure that nobody's crossing the streams. You know what I'm saying? I thought Westworld had a good enough finale. Enough guest info gets deleted, so it's random who gets to be immortal. The host can still be the characters restored from the brain balls. Well, finally, yeah, Philip A. Demick. Yeah, it depends on, you know, I don't think for a minute that everybody's dead. Maybe Sizemore's dead. I don't think. I think, well, Maeve's coming back for sure. And I think Hector's going to come back, and Armistice. You cannot get rid of Hector and Armistice. Come on. Love those two characters. So Dennis disappeared exactly when Westworld ended. Coincidence? Mako? I think not, actually. I have his brain bulb. Yeah, it's actually right here. No, I won't show you that. But yes, I have his brain bulb. I'm tweaking it a little bit. I'm amping up his aggression, you know, because Dennis is so aggressive. Dennis is feeling better now, Viking bitch. He is. Finally, we got to see where the host we see the hosts make it to the real world. Philip, yeah, I think the biggest question is when. And I don't know if you noticed at the end there that all the just that post-credit scene, they shoot the far in the future stuff with it's kind of diffused. It looks a little. They try to make it look airy, right? So it looks like it's a little like misty, blurry. So if you go back and watch the episode, there's a couple of all the scenes where towards the end with of course the Williams scene. I think that will be your precedent. You look at that, and that's your precedent for how they shoot that scene. And go back and look at the Bernard and Dolores scene towards the end. That to me was shot in the future as well. They messed really hard with the timeline in that last episode, and I think one of the biggest mindfucks maybe will be the premiere in 2 years, which they're going to have to. I mean, we're going to forget all this stuff. But I think they're going to show that they messed with the timeline way harder than we think. I'm still petitioning for Stargate review. If you need a content, just saying, says Dakota Stanton. I'm open to that. Yeah, why not? We will definitely do stuff for patrons. I gave you guys a little message yesterday that we're going to give you guys a lot more content. But yeah, I think in lieu of covering bad TV shows, let's just cover old good ones. And if it sacrifices a few clicks, so be it. I don't care. I don't want to, honestly, I don't want to watch a show that sucks. And I don't think you guys want to watch a show that sucks. If you enjoyed, there's not enough people who enjoyed it. I gave it one more chance against the votes of my patrons, by the way, which I'll never do again. And we're done with Cloak and Dagger. I'm going to stick with Preacher because I like Preacher. I love the comic. It sucks that you've never heard of it. That's so it's one of the most famous Vertigo comics ever done, but I can understand why people have never heard of it. It's a great comic book series that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s by Garth Ennis and the late great Steve Dillon. Pick it up. It's in trade form. It is so good. It's got the best cast of characters I've ever seen in comics. Dark Matter is super amazing, says Tara. I will check it out. I just binged Humans, and I kind of like it. And man, there's a lot of Westworld in that show. Did not realize that. It's a much lighter than Westworld, and there is different a little bit. Well, at least in the first season, there's different timelines. I agree. I think Westworld will come back and really mess with our minds. I love Preacher, says Mary Ashford. Yeah, Preacher's fun. It's the best part of last episode. I went back and watched it again. Was it's got some of the best music. And every time he's sitting talking to grandma, and there's just like this really dark, foreboding music, you practically expect Cthulhu to come out from under her chair. Like it's this really, really dark music. It's awesome. Black Sails was awesome, Philip A. Demick. We just missed it. We missed the boat on that one. Like what I did there. It ended right when we started kind of getting going. Discovery got so many awards. It proves it's great. You're right, Love Pond. The Saturn Awards prove me wrong. I love it. Doomcock said nobody cared about him. I was the only asshole who used to care about him because every year, the reason I cared is because I was a kid and didn't know any better. But I also read a lot of Starlog magazine. And, all the movies I loved back in the 80s and 70s got no love. They were lucky to get a Special Effects Academy Awards. And this is where, basically us nerds were looking for any validation at all to like the stuff we like because we got so much shit for liking the stuff we liked. It's not like it is for you kids today, but that's why I gave a shit about the Saturn Awards. But the awards are dumb. They're dumb. Bad Dag joked. You like that? Thank you for $1.99. I was waiting for you to respond to that. Stargate. Okay. We'll do Stargate. We'll do it. We're doing Farscape. We'll do Stargate. Okay. So Viking Bitch's next question is, when are we getting the goddamn Farscape review? Next Monday for sure. Next Monday. Is that Feisty? You good with next Monday? And I'm sure Comics is. And maybe we'll get Viking Bitch involved some way if she wants to be. It's up to you. Invites out there. She knows her Farscape for sure. We're going to do a season 1. So it'll be a season 1 discussion. Could be a long one. Yes. Proof the Saturn Awards are irrelevant. Richard Kiel was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for The Spy Who Loved Me. He was not, Doug. Hey, his performance in Moonraker is a tour de force, Doug. Okay. Only slightly better. No, actually in Superman 2, the Richard Lester version, is better performance. Left me weeping. How many episodes have I seen of Farscape so far? I have seen half of the first season. I kind of jumped ahead a little bit, and I jumped ahead to I'm like this. I'll watch the last episode. Kind of wanted to see where it's going, but I'm getting there. By next Monday, I'll be done. Because I was gonna watch it yesterday, and I started watching 12 Monkeys, and then I watched Human. Yeah, I was all watching TV yesterday and playing on Patreon, trying to learn Patreon. I was only supposed to start my Patreon like a month ago. Like we started it way too early. I wasn't John, rightly so, talked me into it, but I wasn't, totally ready. And I like to study things before I open them up. For example, I'm Feisty's helping me a little bit get back into Twitter because it's been many, many years and it's changed a lot from when I used to be on there just spouting off bullshit. And I'm taking my time getting back in to Twitter because I learned at VidCon it's very good for your channel, so you should do it. The only award I care about is the Arthur C. Clarke Award for Best Sci-Fi Books. The winners there are usually very good. I loved Children of Time. Yeah, I have not read Children of Time. I need to read it then. When I hear Children of Time, I think of Doctor Who. I think of Doctor Who and his companions. Isn't that what Davros called them? I feel the showrunners on Westworld should use the break to watch Dark on Netflix and learn how to do multiple complex timelines right. Yes, Hans Torm, and I need to take the time. How is Dark on Netflix? Anybody seen it? Can we get a take? Can we get a 12 Monkeys recap before the finale on Friday? Asked Penn Farm Girl. You know what? Instead of Cloak and Dagger, we can do one on Thursday if Dennis is up for it. I'm up for it too. I'm up or down for it, whatever one. And then we can do a finale one on Saturday. It's so good. I love that show. It sucks that it's ending. I like how it's ending a lot. And you know what? Maybe four seasons is like a good number for some shows. And I think networks in the future will be a little more brave and come out there and say, hey, this is going to be a limited series show. Okay. So we're going to only do 3 seasons. So the ending is coming. And think of it like a movie. I think that'd be great to do that. For one, you're being honest with your audience. And okay, so if it ends season 3 and everybody's like, no, and then they can go, guess what? We're going to do another chapter or something like that. We'll do 3 more seasons or something like that. I have never, what, Viking bitch? Oh, whoa. Have you mentioned this before? And did I miss it? Because, hold the phone. I have never watched Doctor Who, so I will need more time. I'm watching Farscape. You need to watch Doctor Who. Where should she start, folks? Where should you know what? Start with the new stuff. Go with the 9th Doctor. Start right there. Russell T Davies. And that is where I would start. And if you like that, then you can dip into the old stuff. The old stuff is not for everybody. I love it. I think it's freaking fantastic. I think it's some of the most creative storytelling I've ever seen. Really, with $5 and some duct tape, they managed to make a show for years and years. That's really compelling. It's got an amazing lore and world, and yeah. It's a lot to cover. I'd like to split it. Thanks for considering. I got to agree with you, Pam Farm Girl. It's too much to cover on one podcast. So if we sacrifice Cloak and Dagger, which I am totally fine with, we can do that. Gary, are we doing Ant-Man and the Wasp on Friday? Yes. Oh, that's right. God damn it. Okay, so we can do, all right, 12 Monkeys on Wednesday, because I got to watch Ant-Man on Thursday. So sorry for the change there. We can do 12 Monkeys on Wednesday night. We'll try to do it early because I know it's late for you, Pen Farm Girl, but I'm thinking maybe 7:30. I'll float it out there. But thank you, Feisty. I appreciate that. Yeah, because it's Ant-Man and the Wasp next Friday. It's not just as good as the first 3 seasons. I adore the first 2 seasons, and last year's was amazing as well. James, after you talk about 12 Monkeys, yeah, the first season, 12 Monkeys is shit. It is so good. I think Dark is pretty good. It's kind of show you need to stay focused on and understand everything. Many characters, says Felipe Diaz. Thank you, Felipe. I love that kind of show. That's my favorite kind of show. I'm reading down. Utopia was really good. Sucks that it got canceled, said Felipe. I heard good things about that show. There's an American version of Utopia coming out to Amazon, if I remember correctly, says Jesse Hafner. VB, what's up, Apple Crow? How are you? Good to see you. Sorry for the moment of silence there. I'm just trying to catch up on the chat. Going up here a little bit. Okay. The best Doctor Who episodes were written by Douglas Adams. The guy who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Dirk Gently. Philip A. Demick. I love Douglas Adams so much. He is my favorite author. He has written my favorite story. My favorite character in anything ever is Ford Prefect. Man after my own heart right there. Doug knows that too. Another thing I wanted to suggest for this summer. We've got so much crap to do. It's actually turning into a busy summer. But I don't know how you guys feel about this. I might do this just for the patrons. But I kind of want to do either, I don't know if it's a Hitchhiker book review or if we do the radio show review. Because I adore the radio show. It is so good. So maybe that's something we could do for the patrons, man. I love Dirk Gently too, Mary. I like the show a little bit, even though it's very un-Dirk Gently. But I love those books so much. I can listen to Douglas Adams read the audio versions of both of those books. I can listen to that over and over again. Yeah, Douglas Adams and Terry Pratchett. Yeah. Sorry, I got a quick message from the wife here. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment. Okay. Uh-oh. She told me there was no Wi-Fi. I can't log into the Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Maybe I'm not going to Sausalito. Gary, can you do any kind of Douglas Adams review you want? I love it all. Yeah. I want to get the official Dougie J, who's out there in the chat. He needs to come on with me. Okay. He's yeah. We were both there. So do you know why Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is so freaking huge in the United States? And you know what made it huge? This is just, I mean, I don't know this for sure. Okay. But this is what made it huge for people of my age. There was a Star Wars radio show. Forgive me if you've heard this story before, but it used to be on PBS, and this was back in early 80s. And that in itself is really damn good. Okay. But prior to the Star Wars radio show that was on PBS at, well, Doug, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was like 7:30 Sunday night. There was a bunch of teenage kids listening to PBS radio because the Star Wars radio show drama was on. And prior to that was the Hitchhikers radio show. So we get there early and you'd catch like the last 10 minutes of it. And all of a sudden we started getting there earlier and earlier because we're like, this is funny. This is good. And that's what got me, Doug, and everybody in the Hitchhiker. I as far as people older at the time, I'm not too sure, but Star Wars brought something that I think is quite frankly better. which is The Hitchhiker. It sucks that Disney owns the film rights to Hitchhiker, so I hope they never, ever, ever, ever make another movie unless it's in the hands of I don't even know who would be good. Who would be a good director of now? You'd have to do a TV series with Hitchhiker. You can't do a movie. There was a time I'd say Terry Gilliam, but no. Edgar Wright, no. I don't know. You guys tell me. Who'd be a good showrunner? Noah Hawley. Yeah. Terry Gilliam's doing Hitchhikers. That would make me probably cry with joy. I just don't think it would get finished and he'd get the rights taken away from him. I love Terry Gilliam, by the way. Still my all-time favorite director. So, oh, that's right, Feisty fan. So we have a birthday near each other, and then we have a wedding anniversary near each other. That's weird. Isn't that strange? Oh, you're so young. Hitchhiker's Guide is fantastic. Would also recommend Good Omens. I have read Good Omens, and oh my God, are we going to cover that TV show? That looks good, Mako. I promise you guys this one. The only panel that I plan on absolutely being at 100%, and I'm going to video the whole damn thing for you, is the Good Omens panel in Ballroom 20 from Comic-Con in 3 weeks. That's happening. That is 100% happening. I can't do it live because the internet connection they suppress it on purpose inside the con, so you pay for it. So so cell phone signals. Plus, there's also like 125,000 cell phones in one spot. It's really hard to get anything live. So I'll just record it, pop outside, and upload it. And yeah, you're not feeling 97. Star Wars was on at 7 p.m. Monday nights. That's right. Okay, then Hitchhiker was 7:30, if memory serves. So Hitchhiker was afterwards. Why did I think it was before? There goes my memory. But I think you're right. It was Monday. Well, what did I know? I didn't work. I was a kid. Hitchhiker series by Noah Hawley, where Arthur Dent is on drugs and imagines all his events. With the mice talking, the dolphins flying in spaceships, suicidal robot. It would be glorious. Absolutely, Mako. Oh, and don't forget I can't even say it. The super egotistic freaking president who doesn't want to be a president, who, for fashion reasons, has another head and an extra arm. And when put into the total perspective vortex, he was only shown the truth that he was the most fabulous thing in the universe. I hate how they undid that, by the way. That sucked. Oh my God. That was my favorite moment in the books, is the total perspective vortex. If you don't know what it is, sorry, spoilers. It's a form of torture where you are put in a room or a box, and it shows you in relation to the entire universe. And you see that you are so small. You're a speck of dust on a speck of dust on a speck of dust. It makes you crazy and cry. But Zaphod walked in there and walked out going, yep. Told me everything I needed to know. I got into Hitchhikers. It aired Sunday nights on PBS after Doctor Who, before Red Dwarf, says Philip A. Debbick. The TV show? Yes. So Hitchhiker TV show is the reason I watched Doctor Who, because that's the same thing. I was watching it on PBS. I got to go back and watch Red Dwarf. I think I'd probably like it. I'm going through the chat here. I can honestly talk to you guys about Hitchhiker all freaking day. How many of you guys? Okay, so my favorite thing from Hitchhiker is they did the radio show, and then they remixed it into an album. So it's condensed down, but it's produced a little better, and it's got like some of the best music and sound effects you'd ever hear, like ever. And I think it's probably done at the BBC Radiophonic Workshop, the same people who did Doctor Who sound effects. Yes, I have I have 2 vinyl albums of Doctor Who sound effects. They're amazing. And yes, I listen to them. when I go to sleep. But the Hitchhiker album has been like this holy grail thing that I could never find. I would go to Comic Cons, couldn't find the bootleg version. The one time I did buy one, I ended up selling it back to Lose Records for like drugs or something like that. Recently, then of course eBay popped up and became easy to get everything. I love the Hitchhiker out, both of them. There's part one, then there's part two, Restaurant at the End of the Universe, with the rubber ducky on the front. And honestly, to make a movie, all they had to do was just do the albums. It's edited down perfectly, perfectly. But no, that Hitchhiker movie, man, made me so sad. I mean, especially wasting Alan Rickman as Marvin, which was brilliant. But let's get down the chat here. I say let Ardman do an animated Hitchhikers. Says, ooh, that's a great idea. Oh, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. That is a great idea. I love that idea. You get a harumph out of me. Those Hitchhiker albums are fantastic, says Doug. Yes, I listen to them to this day. Apple Crow, I agree. Okay, I agree to the point, except I didn't like. Oh my god, why am I blanking on his name? Who played Ford? He's from Oakland too. I didn't like his performance. I wish he would have not mumbled as much. Ford Prefect is supposed to be a pretentious wastoid partier who knows more than I love what, like, yeah, he comes off as just kind of a douchey guy until he stares at people with the knowledge of and he stares people down, and he tries to think of everything he knows more than your basic human. And yeah, I just love, yeah, Mos Def. Thank you, Apple Crow. Mos Def. He mumbled through that movie. I thought we were going to get a better performance, but the cast was spot on. Definitely spot on. I did kind of like the George Bush Zaphod. That was funny. That was funny. I hope the news about Walter Bosley's work being given to TV treatment pans out. It says Persian Scribe. And what news is that? Did I miss it? I don't get all the news. Hang on. Let's find out. Oops. God dang, I almost blocked you by accident. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I mean, I don't know everything. So tell me what it is. Fill me in on that one, Persian Scribe. I liked the movie, but it was also my introduction in Hitchhikers, says Nyla Shadow. Okay. You know what? And that's the honest truth. There's truth in everything. Okay. So when I get criticized for being an old man, whatever, it's true. It's true. I have expectations set based on, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a heretic about anything except source material. Okay. I just like be honest to it, be true. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just didn't think it, I don't know. I think they made a decent effort, but as long as it was in production, they just Disneyed it, in my opinion. They gave it a good effort, but Hitchhiker's it's tough to adapt. That's why I don't think it's right for a movie. I think it's better as a TV series. You go back and watch the TV show; it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And I think it's firmly set in the Doctor Who universe, to be honest with you. I could see oh my God, the Tennant reference to Arthur Dent and Christmas Invasion. I squealed. Yeah, they are, Doug. The albums are the same cast except for Trillian. She is changed out, I believe. Could be wrong on that one. Um, and they're just a little more produced. They're a little more produced. There's a little better acting, a little better delivery on some stuff, and the music and sound effects are while they were kind of uneven in the radio show because they're doing a radio show. Um, they were able to produce it a little better and it's mixed better. That's why I like them. I mean, I still I own the full on radio show, and I recently started a sci-fi show from 1978. Oh yeah, so many people, Alex Utopia, so many people have been telling me that. I have never heard of before for some reason. Blake 7 is actually kind of cool. Just throwing it out there. Yeah, so many people have brought that up to me. I can't ignore it. I can't ignore it. The best part of the Hitchhiker movie was the animation. Agreed, Viking bitch. And the musical number in the beginning was pretty damn funny. So long and thanks for all the fish with the dolphins. Yeah, the animation was great of the actual book. Hey, Morks. I was just talking about you. So yeah, Morks, since you're here, I'll repeat itself. You are the one international patron. I am sending your package out today. I just wanted to let you know that if you do not get it, let me know. I have backups. Okay. I don't know how things work. I've sent some stuff your way before eBay wise, and sometimes it's hit and miss, and sometimes it's us losing shit. Because our postal department sucks just as bad as everybody else's. And yeah, so don't worry. If it doesn't make it there, yeah, we got backups. I got you covered, man. Am I the only Patreon listed that I don't see my name at the end? Then forget to ask. You are. You are, Dakota. Hang on. Like I can't. Okay, the reason I haven't popped my video up is because I semi-doxed a patron. They were very cool about it, and I was mortified, but they said, hey, could you just use my internet name? So I'm working on fixing that. That was very fucking stupid of me. So not the end of the world, but I felt pretty bad. What's up, rough girl? How's it going? Do you really skydive? That shit scares the crap out of me. I'd never do that. I hate getting on planes, much less jumping out of one. Woo. Walter Bosley's research into 1890s airship tech. Oh, that's where I've heard that name before. Not blimps, by the way. Breakaway civilization as a research. Okay. Got you, Persian Scribe. Thank you. I had known I've heard that name in something before. That's awesome. We might go down that rabbit hole a little later. We'll see how things go. If you guys want to talk a little Randall Carlson, catastrophism, as opposed to gradualism, as far as in geology. I know it sounds really boring, but I'll sum it up to this. There's a group out there who thinks 12,000 years ago, the Ice Age ended. Well, the Ice Age ended abruptly and then started again and ended abruptly. And there's a group out there who think basically the Atlantis theory is true to this extent that there was a civilization, not like one that's flying around spaceships and lived in a little ring out in the Bahamas, but that it was based on an actual something. So there's a lot of proof that something was going on, that there might have been a civilization, multiple civilizations that was able to communicate with each other somehow prior to the Ice Age. It's very interesting stuff. I won't dive into that right now because we're still talking about Hitchhiker. But The Original Prisoner, starring Patrick McGoohan, is one of the best all-time. Yeah, a lot of people say that. He just how long ago did he die? He died 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I remember there's a radio show guy I was listening to did a whole episode. It was a political one, so I'm not going to bring it up, but did a whole episode on him, and I never heard of him. For Gary giving me all the feels. R.E. Hitchhiker. Doug. Oh, those are good times, man. Life was simple. Okay, it wasn't that simple, but it was simpler. And yeah, it's how we choose to remember. Because junior high sucked. At least the first year did, for sure. All right. That's cool. It wasn't you. Then it must have been somebody else, Morks. I'm sorry. Then never mind. I saw there was like somebody in Chile. I thought that was you. My bad. So whoever's in Chile, you're getting your shit. Trust me. Marks, that's awesome that you got your comics. And that tells you about my fragmented brain. Alex Utopia, where Star Trek back then in the German variant Space Patrol Orion were all like official people in uniforms in space. Blake 7 is more like a gang of outlaws on a stolen ship kind of deal. So it's the precursor to like Firefly and the Expanse. Maybe a little Star Wars with Han Solo, a little bit. Yeah. Farscape. Yes. DMT. Yeah, the whole DMT. Randall Carlson. I did some looking into DMT because I didn't know much about it. And yeah, it's interesting. It's not anything I'll do, but no, don't judge anybody else for trying. If you can meet God, would you want to? There's a question for you. I know the music on The Prisoner is of its time, but it is sharp and irritating. I've only got 4 episodes in and I have to keep walking away. Is it that 60s music where they had to have a beat every time somebody moved? Yeah, I remember that. Although the Twilight Zone music is like that, but it's done to perfection. Rings are made by volcanoes. If they lived on a ring, it might be a super volcano that erupted once and made a ring, made a super erupted again, and ended up being Atlantis. Maybe YouTube Vlog Life. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get too woo-woo with you guys, but I'm a huge Graham Hancock and then Randall Carlson. I've recently got into him in the last year, but I've been a fan of Graham Hancock for 20 years. Read Fingerprints of the Gods when it came out because he got his art. The late great Art Bell, who just passed away, started so many careers, and did not get any. I wonder if there's some like dark news about him or something. He's had to retire. He had to retire a bunch of times before he died. And then when he died, like all the people he gave careers to gave him zero love. I'm wondering what's up with that. I never seen The Prisoner, but the Pinky and the Brain parody of it. Pinky and the Brain. Oh man. 90s. Rough Girl says Joe Rogan. Yes, he loves his DMT for sure. I like Joe Rogan though. I do. He is the benchmark of podcasting, in my opinion. Because he, I don't do his MMA stuff. I am so not, and I could be not into something more than people fist fighting. Yeah, and watching it. Yeah, not a big fan of that. I mean, if you're into it, cool. That's awesome. It's more entertaining than boxing for sure. But just not into it. So when he has those people on, I dip out, but I love like the diversity of people, for lack of a better word, sorry, of that he has on. I don't know if you guys saw the episode where I'm sure you did, where Carlson and Graham Hancock talked to the skeptic, and Graham Hancock lost his cool. That wasn't a good look. Randall's funny. Randall Carlson is this genius dude who looks like the guy who would sell you pot down the street. Yeah, he just looks like an old hippie pot dealer, but he's actually freaking brilliant. Oh, you like it, huh? Persian Scribe, that's great. The ancient civilization stuff. It is. I've been really quiet about how much I'm into it. Like my wife knows because she's nice enough to listen when I want to talk about and just go, that's nice, dear. But yeah, I'm really into that stuff. And recently, I was listening to one interview. I think it was Robert Schoch was talking, because he's not really into the ancient aliens theory, but he was thankful for the show. And he had a great point that show has gotten so many more people just thinking about the idea that something went on back then that we don't know about now. Is you can come to your own conclusions, but I think there's plenty of evidence now that like some of like the older stone structures were the superior work, and as time went on, we degressed. So, and there's stuff we can't make today that they made. I just think civilization is way older than mainstream archaeology says it is. And Robert Schoch's theory of how things ended is the scariest one. I'd say even scarier than Randall Carlson's was a comet coming down and hitting the North American ice shelf and, basically melted stuff overnight. And there's evidence of, well, I mean, look at a map of the United States. You can see a nice satellite map and look to the left, and it looks like the entire left-hand side of the United States melted. I don't know if it was that big, but if you go to Randall Carlson's theories and you go see Dry Falls up in Washington, the Boulder National Park, where there's just like thousands of giant boulders on the ground. Even in North County, San Diego, if you go down around Escondido, there's boulders everywhere. How'd they get there? And these aren't like broken rock. They're nice, rounded by water and ice boulders. I forgot what the name, glaciatics or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't fucking know. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. I think it's interesting. It's interesting to ponder it, to just like shut it down and say it didn't happen that way. I don't know. It's not very open-minded. It's not very scientific. But that shit's fun. Yeah, but no, Robert Schoch's theory is that there was a big plasma discharge from the sun and just fried everything. And his evidence is there's a bunch of rock all around the world that's vitrification, which is melted rock. Dalton, they're based on Edgar Casey, but no, they come from another guy too. I'm gonna give me a second. I'm gonna look up Worlds in Catastrophe. Worlds in Catastrophe. What was his name? He was a big time scientist. He was a buddy of damn it, why am I blanking on his name? He was a buddy of Einstein. He's the one who kind of started this whole thing, and you guys can help me with, but Worlds of Catastrophe or Worlds in Catastrophe. Worlds in Catastrophe. Oh man, I forgot the dang name now. So yeah, this guy wrote a book. I'm forgetting his name. He was a buddy of Einstein, and Eric von Daniken got pretty much. Graham Hancock and Eric von Daniken got everything from this dude, and it's he was a scientist, and his theory was out there. Okay, his theory that Venus was actually a comet, and there was a bunch of and the planets were just flying around back in the ancient times, so people were around to witness this. And I'm breaking this theory down to as much as I know. So all the basically all of the myths are based on watching all the crap that went down in the sky, in ancient times. And that was his theory. And it's, God dang, I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. I hate bringing up stuff you can't remember, but that's where a lot of this stuff came up. And I had never heard of the guy until, not Tim Leary. No, that's acid. Give me a second. If I had time to talk amongst yourselves. Saturn. It's like a Saturn theory. There it is. Okay, Velikovsky. Planet catastrophe. So that's the guy that a lot of people. His name was Immanuel Velikovsky. Here's his little Wikipedia. And honestly, never heard of the guy until recently. But this is where a lot of Graham Hancock stuff. He was the first person to mention that we might be he was the first person to say that we are a civilization with who's pretty much forgotten, with amnesia, basically, and that there is a shared trauma from living through all of this, you know, all these catastrophes 12,000 years ago or 11,800 years ago. I'm really simplifying this stuff to, yeah. So he got a ton of criticism. People thought he was pretty much crazy, but a lot of people have gotten a lot of mileage out of some of his theories. So yeah, check him out. World in collusion. Thank you, Persian Scribe. That was it. World in collusion. So yeah, a lot of planets collided. People witnessed it. These are the source of a lot of our myths. Randall Carlson, Graham Hancock, Robert Brevall, not Robert Schoch as much, but all these guys talk about our myths. There being some truth in our myths, and I totally explosive amnesia. You're damn right. I could not agree more of that. You just look around. I've done a ton of traveling in the Southwest, here in the Southwest. I grew up in San Diego, in San Francisco, and I love the desert. I love it more than the beach. It's my favorite place to go. I've done tons of camping in Joshua Tree, Death Valley, up in Pahrump. I've been up and down the Western United States. Big fan of deserts, Grand Canyon. My birth mom was a park ranger at Grand Canyon, so that's probably where that comes from. But it is, I mean, Monument National. You're near that, Mary. Monument National Valley. That is like some of the most epic scenery ever, and it's weird how it was made, and it all looks like it's been washed away. Especially when you're driving around Arizona, you can absolutely see there's flash floods there all the time too. Went to Meteor Crater last year for the first time. That was epic. I think it's huge. Movie Fanobi, yeah. Actually, I have somebody who wants to come on with me about that. And I would even be like once getting some notes together, you're right, Move Fanobi, and getting my shit together and maybe having one of these guys on, because I did notice that Randall Carlson's like gone on podcasts with 2,000 subs. So why not? I'll ask him, if he's got time. Astronomer, because I can talk, Dr. Tom Van Flandern also has the exploded planet theory, where he posits that the asteroid belt is a remnant of a planet and parts pummeled the one side of Mars, and that has all the meteor damage. Yeah, the one side of Mars that's got that big scrape on it, Persian Scribe. Yeah, Mars is currently in a global sandstorm right now. Gary, if you like scenery, you should skydive. Seeing the world from 15,000 feet is fantastic. Rough girl, I would love to see. I mean, like, I have an irrational fear of flying. It's stupid. Now, I do fly, okay, but I only fly to places worth dying for. So like France, Italy, Australia, South America. Sure, I'll get in a plane. What's up, a brown comic reader? And I don't mind heights. It's not a height thing. I'll get to a top of a building and I'll look down at everything, but I don't know. You know what? I think it was when I watched, my dad was watching on TV one of the Airport 74, 75 movies about a plane crash. And that was my earliest memory of flying, was the plane crashing. And it was the scene where the guy who played Bishop on Firefly was in it. And he had survived a plane crash, and he was like tripping that his watch was broken. And he's like in the Florida Everglades around like dead bodies and a crashed plane. And he's just tripping like, my watch is broken. Why is my watch broken? And I don't even know if that in my memory, it's him. I don't know if it was actually him. And that, I don't know why that freaked me out. It completely freaked me out. And also I didn't take my first plane ride till I was like 17. So yeah, you got to get them while you're young. So yeah, I'm stupid when it comes to flying. I know it's ridiculous, but I know safest, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that, by the way. I think it's, there's a lot of planes in the sky. I see them every day. I'm between two airports here, and there's planes going over us every 5 seconds, but still, no, thanks. because if a bolt comes loose in your car, chances are, unless it's like the wheel hub, you're not going to die. Yeah, look up Goblin Valley. Do I want to, Mary? Mary, yeah, my wife has tons of family in Utah. By the way, if you guys are watching the World Cup, anybody care about that World Cup soccer stuff? Or I'm sorry, football. There is a young lady doing the play-by-play. Her name is Allie Wagner. She's the first female to do it, which is really incredible for me to hear. That is Melissa's cousin. That is cousin Allie. We're very close. Her hair is done by my wife, and yeah, very proud of cousin Allie. So yeah. So if you see the American broadcast on Fox, and you see Allie Wagner, who used to be on the American gold medal team, she was on the team that beat China. And Allie Wagner is a great commentator. That is my wife's cousin. Yes, she is a great person. She and her sister Sam are awesome. And yeah, she's got she had triplets and then had another one. So she got 4 little rugrats running around. They're freaking cute as hell. Yeah, seeing Allie do so well is, of course, the family is super proud. Yeah, she's awesome. And all the Wagners look like that, by the way. They have like this elfy look about them. Yeah, it's the whole damn family. She's a total babe. I'll tell her you said that. I have only recently started in the last 25 years to add volcanic ash to the cement to resist salt corrosion like the Romans did in 15,000 years ago. I was testing for Boston's Big Dig at NYS. That is trippy. Well, there's this could be total woo-woo, Philip Ademic, but there is the whole story out there. You can't call it an urban legend because it's not urban. That in South America, that there was once a substance that you can make that could melt rock to make it malleable. That could be complete bullshit, but that's out there. Like, that's something I could believe. I mean, that's more believable than aliens coming down and helping them build walls. But I do have a fear of religion. I do too. People say Gene Roddenberry was well-tempered, gentle man, but if you would tell him about the aliens building the pyramids, he got angry, beat on the table, and said, "No, we did this." Or so the story goes. Alex Utopia. Gene Roddenberry was a player. Okay. He really liked his secretary. I know that. That's the only thing I know about the guy, though. He would get mad. I think we built the pyramids. I would say we built it, but it's not. I don't think it was a bunch of slaves. I think they have been rebuilt on something that was much, much older. That's kind of the going theory. That's the one thing. Graham Hancock, Randall Carlson, Robert Schoch, Robert Bauval. That's what they don't agree on how it happened, but they all agree that there's a lot of stuff where it's got like these amazing foundations and then crap work on top. Not crap work, just not as good as the foundation. The pyramids are insane. Absolutely insane. The more we learn about them, the more insane you find out. Like, why would anybody do this? It's not the can we do it? It's why. Like, why? Randall Carlson likes to bring up that the whole cathedral building thing that happened, in the 1300s is a response to the Dark Ages, and it was also during a brief warm period, and it was not collectivism, but it was, it's just a singular effort, and it employed a lot of people, and the economy was better, and there was more food, and people were starting to get bigger again, because like we had been in the Ice Age, our stature had been brought down, everything. It's amazing we survived it all. But the pyramids are stupid. They make no sense. I mean, they make tons of sense, but it's like to be built back then the way they were to those specifications, it's crazy. I've only okay, I already read that one. Latitude and longitude story about the pyramids is insane, rough. It is. And then if you take it back to the Sphinx, okay, so the head is clearly recarved. Does anybody argue that at all? That they recarved the head? It's totally disproportionate to the body. It probably was a lion because, over 10,000 years ago, that structure was facing Leo in the constellation. So yeah, that's insane shit. And how did they know? How did they know astronomy? How did they know anything? And then like every culture, almost every freaking culture has a flood myth. Why? Because it happened. DC Fontana was not Gene Roddenberry's secretary. She was the writer. But there was another secretary story. I don't know if it's true, Maka. I have no idea. I heard it on the internet, so it could be told bullshit. It's true because I heard it on the internet. I fucking love Gene Roddenberry. I do. Bye, Movie Fanobi. You're welcome. Thank you for coming in. It's weird saying people say goodnight when it's 2 p.m. Yeah, it doesn't click in. Mako, yeah. Wasn't DC Fontana a writer? I could be wrong on that one. Have you seen the thing with the Mayan or Inca pyramid where there's a day? Let me read this ahead a little bit so I don't read it like a kindergartner. When the sun hits and creates a snake pillow and signifies something, but I can't remember. Yeah, there's a it's on the not winter solstice, maybe spring solstice, and it gives a shadow of like a snake. Yeah, that's it. That is crazy. That is crazy. Either we have grown stupid or our ancestors were far much smarter than us. You tell me. James Hayes, isn't that answer obvious? Yeah, I think they were more in tune with, not to sound super hippie, but maybe they were more in tune with the earth. So their technology was more based on like what they had around them as opposed to like making metals and building things. Our civilization is screwed if there's an electromagnetic pulse. Screwed. We're Walking Dead in like 2 weeks. And people, I mean, like, I know I kind of prepare for that. I live in San Francisco, so we have an emergency. We have a plan. We have a plan. We have stuff set aside. And to live here without that stuff, I think is absolutely insane, especially if you're responsible for littles and, or not so littles anymore, but for people. Okay. And we got our food and our safety kit and stuff and a way to get the fuck out. And of course, I made sure to buy at least both of, one of either my wife or I would have to have a full on 4-wheel drive vehicle. And I don't think it's insane to think that way. Okay. I just don't. And it's good to be prepared. And it's not that expensive, except for the 4-wheel drive vehicle. That's pretty fucking expensive. But he had an affair with the secretary, but because DC Fontana was a female writer, there were rumors that she was his secretary and got the scripts because she slept with him. Oh, that sucks. No. I just know that name. I didn't know at first that DC was a she, and that's probably why she named herself DC back then. It probably was a thing. It was probably very hard for her to get her scripts, but no, I heard Doomcock was giving her props on Friday night too. Internet's gonna internet. You're right, Dalton. You're right. Ice Age may be ended by the heat of a supernova that exploded, says YouTube Vlog Life. That could be too. Absolutely. Technically, the Ice Age isn't over. Still going. And the Ice Age, as long as there's certain amounts of glaciers and, because there's many times in the world's past, there's been, 6 Ice Ages. But there's also been time where there was a variance of 2.5 degrees from pole to pole in the temperature when it was like a canopy and it was basically Dagobah. So the Earth's been through many changes. I'm terrified of flying. I flew once to San Diego from Buffalo, and that was enough for me. A blondie lady. So you did you land at San Diego? Or are you saying to San Diego? So you landed in San Diego. So you saw that San Diego landing. Holy shit! So if you haven't landed in San Diego, ladies and gentlemen, the airport is ancient and the city is built right up to it. There's a parking garage right at the end of the runway, and you look like you are going to clip that thing. So there's a hill coming down, right? There's a hill, and then there's the runway. So the plane has to go like that before it hits the runway. So you got to dip real quick. And I mean, it is hairy. It is hairy. Not as bad as Vegas. Vegas is the worst place to fly ever because of the winds. But oh my God. You fly from San Francisco to Vegas in summer. So you get there's a weird like wind wave that comes off the Sierras in the summertime. So it acts like a wave. The wave comes in on the Sierras and it just kind of scoops this way and it creates like this little gap, for lack of a better term. So the plane comes over the Sierras and then it just drops a couple thousand feet like that. And the cap warns you. And I love they do it in pilot speak. So they're like, oh, okay, we're at 30,000 feet and a little bit here. We're going to hit a little chop. So we want you to put on your seatbelts, but everything's going to be all right. So I'm like, oh, cool. It's just a little bit of chop. And then the masks fall down. I was like, what? No. And yeah. And I was, man, when I landed, I'm like, we're fucking driving home. I'm never getting in a plane again. Fuck this shit. Never doing this crap again. My kid was laughing through the whole thing, which was great. I'm glad he was. But I was so upset. And then there was a lady screaming behind us. So my wife, like, she's like, you're not helping anything by fucking screaming. Shut up. I'm like, God damn it. Yeah, it was funny. It was funny. I can laugh about it now. I was not laughing at the time. That was, man, true white knuckling it. What you need in the apocalypse is a good old German diesel motor. Apparently that stuff stays good for a long time. And yes, I'm German. That's why I find it funny. Alex Utopia. My last name is German, although I'm adopted. So I'm English. My OG last name was Knight. I was born under the name Knight. The Wasatch Mountains are a fault line. We get that kind of stuff here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? It doesn't shake up here as much as it does in San Diego. Knocking on wood while I say that, but I've felt way more earthquakes in San Diego than I do here. The last big one we felt was the Napa one, which was 5 years ago. And Derek Robertson, text me right out because I was like, dude, are you okay? And everything. And he texted me back a picture and everything in his house was in a pile in the middle of the room. So everything, it shook it so much. It just took everything from the side, all the shelves, the TV, Blu-rays, comic art, fucking toys, like all this beautiful shit, and just in a pile in the middle of the room. I was like, oh man. It was so sad to talk to him about that time. Supernova exploded in the Middle Ages, which was so bright that people in China said they could read books by the light. I did hear about that. It is called the Guest Star, right? The Guest Star. Rough Girl. Yeah, Utah is freaking gorgeous, and you can buy a house there for a reasonable rate. I like planes, says a brown comic book reader. During the big tsunami 10 years ago, the only group to have no casualties was a tribe of Indonesian quote unquote primitives who are in touch with nature. Philip A. Demick, that is a great point. Graham Hancock brought that up in the Joe Rogan podcast 872 with Randall Carlson, and Graham Hancock is like one of the greatest podcasts I've ever heard in my life. I listen to it over and over again. And Graham Hancock mentions that, part of the argument against ancient civilizations is we were hunter-gatherers back then. Well, Graham Hancock makes a great point. We have them now. They exist right now. There is lots of hunter-gatherers still around. and they're going to be the ones to survive if something happens. If the electromagnetic pulse happens, guess who we're going to be going to for help? The hunter gatherers, because they are in more tune with the earth. They noticed that all the animals were hauling ass away from the water and the tsunami and followed them. That's the smart thing to do. Yeah, and it was weird witnessing that, by the way, because during the Napa earthquake, I woke up before it happened. I remember that it was 3 something in the morning, but my dog was freaking. My dog was absolutely freaking. And now she freaks out, when she hears a fireworks or something like that. So I just thought somebody popped off a firework or something like that and thought nothing of it. And as I was just starting to doze off, then it happened. And it was a good one. Yeah, it shook the whole damn house. But you know what? No action figures fell down. Not a single one. Japan has the craziest porn. America, that's random. America makes better trucks. Sweden has hotter women. Germany, only better sausage. I don't know, man. James, I mean, I don't drink beer. Isn't their beer pretty good? No. I mean, I only know. Okay, so I quit drinking beer in 1991. But I saw Beer Fest, so I'm assuming that the German beer is better. By the way, Beer Fest is a great movie. I love that movie. Uh, if you think Gary is Captain America, no. Yeah, nobody typed one. There you go. I am not Captain America. This is my Captain America worker shirt, though, that I got at the Comic Outpost when I worked there, and I love it. Let's get into more chat. Wow, this is fun. We're kind of all over the place, but this is how these things are meant to be. Morks wrote something absolutely. I mean, it took me way too long to read it, Morks, by the way, but wrote us the best fucking email that any content creator could get. Like, just the nicest thing. I won't divulge all the stuff, but it was really nice. And it was great to hear like why you guys like coming here. And it's basically because of the interaction. And, it made me think like that. I wouldn't want to do this if I was just talking in a camera by myself, or if it was just me and Dennis, because honestly, that kind of sucked. It was kind of boring. And that's why we only started upping our game is when we discovered the chat and we saw that it was interactive, and that made sense for us. Cause I don't know, I'm never going to be good enough to be able to talk at a camera. I don't want to take the time to edit stuff. This is so much more fun. So yeah, that's why. And Marks, thanks again. That was the best. I'm saving that forever. Okay. That makes everything worth doing. Such nice words. And yeah. James Hayes is a funny dude. He's a very good chatter. It is 100% certainty that there will be a big earthquake in California, Gary, or is it just hearsay? I think, yeah, there will be. In my lifetime, I don't know. I've felt Northridge. That was gnarly. That I saw the roads move, but I talked to a lot of people here during '89. I think the chances of it happening here again since 80, I don't know, there was 06. I'd say, probably within the next 100 years. We dodged a bullet in 97 down in San Diego. There was a massive, like 7.4, but it was in the middle of the desert. All it did was derail a train. Made you think of Superman, the movie. Not the Klingons. What's up, Nigel? Yeah, it's hot as a very bad. Yeah, it's hot as a very bad place in the mountains of North Carolina, says James Hayes. I don't know what that's in reference to. Did I miss something? Japan has the craziest porn. It really does. Oh, you get 4 seasons there? Yeah, we don't get that in California. We get summer, it rains a couple months, and summer. James. Sorry, the rednecks are most likely to survive the Holocaust, repopulate the earth, and the pygmies have no chainsaws or dogs, just poison frogs. Well, if you got to power your chainsaw with something, but yeah, there's going to be pockets of you know what is going to survive is the crocodile hunters down in Louisiana. God, I love the Gator Hunter show. I love that show secretly. Yeah. If we lose power, water, and food deliveries, the cities will probably be a death zones for 250 or so miles around them. The inhabitants will try to survive and spill out, trying to take food where they can find it. Yeah. Oh, the best thing to do is to get out of Dodge. That's our plan. We're not going to try to save anything. We're going to treat it exactly like we would treat a fire inside our house. Grab what you can grab on your way out, and that's it. I love the dogs, but they're on their own. They got to get the fuck out if they can. But that's something else we got to feed. And, I got a kid to think about, but it's good to have at least one big dog around, I think. Backup food. Just kidding. I'm just kind of. I work on Cap's car. Yeah, that's it. Cap does not drive a Prius. Are alligators, crocodiles, and turtles dinosaurs? They lived with the dinosaurs and survived extinction. Yeah. No, they're not. Birds are. Compared to American beer, there's actually alcohol in ours, says Alex Utopia. What's the Monty Python joke when they're Australians? Hey, Bruce. Good day, Bruce. Good day, Bruce. How is American beer a little like making love in a canoe? It's fucking close to water. Persian Scribe, I'm from San Diego, but now I live in the armpit of the universe, Wisconsin. Utah here. Utah, here I come. Where in Wisconsin, Persian Scribe? My wife's from Sheboygan, which sounds like something you do in the back of a car, but there's parts of Wisconsin I like. But that whole like snow thing, no. Why'd you leave San Diego? Oh, why did I leave San Diego? I left San Diego for a girl. That was the only thing, and I miss it. Birds being dinos also survived. Yes. Birds are the dinosaurs. German Fest are top notch. You bump into someone, and instead of people wanting to fight, they say in German, "Hey, sorry, man. Here, have a beer," says Ray Rain, right? Speaking of Wisconsin, that was the vibe I got when I went to a Packers game. Okay. And I was in full on Chargers gear. And, I've done that in Oakland, which is not advisable. Back when I was a Charger fan, I'm not anymore because they left. But, and the Packer fans, all they did was want to give me food the whole time. It's like, you guys don't know how to eat down in San Diego. Here, have this brat and all this stuff. It was great. It was so great. I ate. Packer fans are really nice. So are people from Wisconsin. Milwaukee's got, it had a good comic shop. I don't know if it's still there. I can't remember the name. Humans will go extinct when the EMP happens. People can't order pizza on their smartphones, says Philip A. Dimmick. They will. It will thin the herd for sure. Oh, that's a good point, Nihilist Shadow. What do you think the German people saw in the skies in Nuremberg in 1561? Either UFOs or what Robert Schoch has proposed when you get a major plasma discharge from the sun, that it can make shapes. It makes actual shapes in the sky that can look like They look like stick figures. Just you can Google that. It's part of Robert Schoch's theory. So it was either, it was either they were all collectively on drugs, they saw UFOs, or there was a plasma discharge that made those weird shapes. But they saw something, because what was it? The painting or whatever. That was weird. It's definitely weird. The big earthquakes, well, let's say it's California in 2047, according to Star Trek Voyager. 2047 is what? 47, 49 years away. Won't be around. I will not be around to see that. Maybe, but probably not. If I am around, I won't be around. Know what I'm saying? I've lived a hard life. I have been healthy of late, but I've done some horrible things to my body. It is not a temple. It is a men's bathroom at the state beach. And if you guys have ever been to the state beach campgrounds, men bathrooms, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to keep going. I'm having a good time. You guys having a good time? I like just talking about bullshit. This is great. Especially after Friday. It's nice. Only summer exists in SoCal, says the brown comic book reader. You're right. It doesn't exist here where I am. So look it up. Look, I mean, I'm pasty right now. I am super pasty because it's foggy. It looks really weird right now. There's a couple of fires up north. So it's brown. There's ash everywhere, and it's been really foggy, and it's mixing in with the smoke. So it looks sepia outside. It's bizarre. More like Santa Ana winds for the next, Lou Bella. Yeah, the Santa Ana winds, familiar with them, where it's windy and 101 and something's going to burn. I mean, San Diego's almost burned down. That's the weird thing, is in the last 2 years, there was that one firework, San Diego damn near almost burned down. And that's not hyperbole, folks. That fire burned so much of San Diego. It's crazy. And then there was 10 years before that, there was a fire up in North County, San Diego, that almost burnt North County to the ground. Got close to my parents' house. That one was crazy. Moonshine can power anything. James, you're right. You're right. The elixir of the gods, moonshine. Damn, I need to travel more. You guys sound like you live interesting. You live in interesting places. Yes, Viking bitch, you need to travel. Travel is awesome. That is what the wife and I plan to do. Gonna live in an Airstream. Live the whiskey tango life. Sounds great. I can see everything being like Stephen King's The Stand, except for Randall Flagg and the trash can man. I love that story. Did you guys see that they cast who they cast for the Adults of the Losers Club and It? James McAvoy, I think, is in talks. And oh God, it was a comedian. It was on I don't want to say the site because I freaking hate the site, but oh, hey, there's going to be a new Firefly prequel comic will reveal the full story of how Captain Mal and Zoe first met. Who's writing it? Where'd it go? Okay, yeah, here we go. The Adult Losers Club. Jessica Chastain is playing Beverly. So I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but James McAvoy's going to play Bill. Isaiah Mustafa is going to play Mike. Jay Ryan is going to play Ben. James Ronson is Eddie. And Bill Hader is Richie. And Andy Bean is Stanley. I don't know if there's a picture. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that's, it's fucking confirmed. Look at that. Did you guys know that? You probably knew that. I didn't know that. I'm actually, okay, so I was way late on seeing It. I had people telling me, like, you go to see it. And guess what? I fucking loved it. I thought it was fucking awesome. Such a good movie. And it reinvigorated me in liking Stephen King because I finally saw somebody who interpreted it. Well, I actually think some of the elements are better than the book. Okay, some, not all. And I love the Tim Curry as Pennywise is godlike. Okay, that performance. I love Tim Curry. I'm a huge Rocky fan. Fucking love him. But that's amazing. That movie. I kind of think they're going to do this with Stranger. Don't you think they'll do this with Stranger Things? Like they'll do another year with the kids and then do a time jump. That's what I think is going to happen. I could be wrong, but yeah, sorry, I got on a little Stephen King thing. The Germans are some of the most pacifistic and nicest people around, and the women are into some kinky stuff. Says Mako. So are the men, Mako. Yeah, I don't drink anymore, so I don't care. Gary and I are on the same boat, but he got sober in 91, me in 2012. Well, Mary, I initially got sober in 91. So I haven't had alcohol since 91, but yeah. There's been there was a little skid in between at some point, but yeah. Congratulations, Mary, by the way. I far as the Viking bitch is talking about is Farscape perverted? I guess it gets a little more, and yeah, I absolutely love that. And that's what really sucks about current writing and everything. Everybody's so fucking afraid to write freely for fear of criticism, which I totally understand. You want to keep your job, but I mean, like, taking away sex appeal, like that is really, I think I heard what is it? Weaponized Nerd Rage was talking about this. He couldn't be more right. We're gonna start seeing more funded stuff. People are gonna start making their own movies on YouTube. They already are making their own TV series. There's gonna be just more. I mean, I think for lack of a better term, the Hollywood gatekeepers are falling. Now there's new gatekeepers coming. There's going to be the Silicon Valley gatekeepers and blah, blah, blah. What I mean, gatekeepers are people who, I mean, what is the editors union or the Screen Actors Guild? It's not for letting people in. It's for keeping people out. Okay. That's what they do. And that can't happen anymore. There will be no Screen Actors Guild or Editors Guild because people are going to start making their own stuff when Hollywood just starts crashing and burning. Because and it even goes back to the question I asked at starting the podcast: is all this infighting is damaging the brand of entertainment? I don't quite think it's there yet, but if it continues, I think people will just like, you know what? I don't. Most people don't really care what anybody thinks of Star Wars or anything, and that's fine. But what makes us geeks and nerds is we do. And maybe we go back to being in our little corner, where we were, which honestly, I was perfectly happy. I was perfectly happy with where comics were prior to the movies. They were in much better shape, to be honest with you. And we paid a price to have that amazing MCU. I'm not saying it's not amazing. We comic book fans have paid a big price, and it's basically selling our soul to the devil Disney. And Warner Brothers has always been out there to do that stuff. They just couldn't get their shit together. So I don't know. A little bit of it makes me sad. I mean, that's where it was meant to go. There's nothing we can do to change that. What's done is done. Comics will never ever be as popular as they once were. I just want them to survive at this point. I don't, and how they survive, I don't know. I just want them to survive. I don't want them to go away. But what did they say in Westworld? You live as long as the last person remembers you. That's how I feel about comics right now. So as long as there's feisties out there and me and Comics Division and a Brown comic book reader and Dalton Mortimer, we'll have comic books. But as far as after that, I don't know. May his shadow fall upon you, Alex of Utopia. That's funny. But yeah, I miss sex and stuff. Don't you? I mean, like, and I'm not a perv. I mean, I guess okay, in San Francisco standards, that we grade on a much different curve around here. Okay, where people consider the Folsom Street Fair tame now. I wouldn't recommend googling it if you haven't heard of it. Uh, but it's like Pride on steroids. I think it's coming up. I think maybe it's a couple months or something like that. Yeah, it's not pretty. Yeah, do not Google it. Uh, I have been apprehensive about watching new It because of strong emotional attachment to the TV cast, says Philip A. Dimick. I was the same exact way, Philip, and it's just it's a different story. It's really a different story. um, the TV cast, because you get to spend more time with them, and plus it was so damn good. Uh, I still have a stronger emotional attachment to them. We'll see after the movies come out, but it was really, really well done. I thought. I had a couple friends who hated it. That's why I stayed away from it. They're like, it was the worst thing ever, and I ended up loving it. So I don't know. I don't think Dennis has seen it. He's not the biggest fan of Stephen King, which is understandable. But I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was great. It's wrong, wrong. Uh, what's up, Feisty? I see FF, and I was thinking about. She sent me a picture of Reed Richards with his beard coming back. And I got excited, and then I remembered who's writing it, and then I lost my excitement immediately. Chiana ramped up the sexual tension in Farscape. Or is it Shiana? Is it Shiana? Tell me if I'm saying that right. Farscape goes down all the dark holes and explores them fully, whether you like it or not. That's his Mako. Max Headroom had hundreds of channels. That's right. But if living in a corner means what we read and watch is well written and makes you think, I'll gladly live in that corner, says Nihilist Shadow. Me too. Where is that? Please show me to that corner. Comics will never die because of the internet, says Jonah Arts. Yeah, I agree with that to the effect, but as a profitable industry, no, there'll always be comics. There'll always be comic strips. There will always be people passionate enough to do it. But as far as like it being a job for somebody, no, not anymore. As far as shops are concerned, there's definitely a way you can survive post floppy, if that makes any sense. But you'd have to work really hard at it, and honestly, you would probably have to have another job, or at least be married to somebody with a little stronger income, or you have an inheritance or something. I don't know. I've got a little Roddy and a minigun in my quarter, says a brown con. I had a Rottweiler. I did. Fucker. He dug everywhere. I want to hear your rant on Batman 50, Gary. Let the rage spill out, all the hatred. Okay. I'll do a little sample, but this is I am not currently running a comic store. So this is just a former comic shop's opinion. Feisty is essentially running a comic store right now. She just lacks the official title, but she is running a comic store. She's out there doing all the promotion, doing all what needs to be done, doing what an owner does. All right, so I give my props to Feisty. Feisty says 9 people have canceled Batman number 50 so far, says James Hayes. Okay, or James Hayes, not says James Hayes. Used to own a comic store. Here's the deal with that. 50 comic shops have closed in the last calendar year. Word on the street since I've done that video and since that has been announced, and that was actually from January of this year. 20 more have gone. There is no less than 20 what's on the chopping block, which is considering selling, considering closing, and that is just rumors I've heard. Okay, I can't back any of that up. I do know there is a major comic shop, major one, that is for sale here in the state of California, because the person asked me if I wanted to buy it. I unfortunately cannot because of location, but it's a big one, and I don't want to run a big shop. Honestly, I want to run a nice little shop where I just rely on me. But aside from that, what shops do, okay, so Batman 50 they've been building up for almost a year, the wedding of Batman and Catwoman, if you're not in the comics and you haven't heard this. And while I have said in my video, the thought of Batman marrying somebody is so ridiculous, but it's great. It doesn't matter what I think. They've gone ahead. They've built this up for a year. Tom King is a great writer. Jim Lee was going to draw the book, and they were going to have this marriage. They were going to drop it on midnight on July 4th, right, Feisty? And stores were having events. Now, they've done this before, but this is one of the biggest ones in memory. I would say this is even bigger than the Watchmen, than the Watchmen event. And so DC, the New York Times yesterday spoiled the end of the story, and essentially Batman and Catwoman are not getting married. Now, the first question I have is, how in the F did DC sign off on the New York Times spoiling their story, unless the New York Times just went ahead and did it? I don't know why the New York Times would go ahead and do it. That's not something they need to do. They're not clickbait. So somebody had to sign off on this from DC. And I'm wondering if it was marketing going, oh, we might want to stem the tide right now because this is going to piss a lot of people off. And I don't think they realized it was going to piss people off. But Feisty, correct me if I'm wrong. Did some people get this book early, right? Some people got the book early, like within the last week, maybe. So people started reading the book and they started getting feedback and they went, oh shit. So yeah, so they set up this huge wedding and they don't get married. And like I said, there was events being planned. There was mock weddings being planned. If, correct me if I'm wrong, Feisty, I actually heard there was an actual wedding being planned at somebody's store. So, and now it's nothing. And I'm like, honestly, Feisty and I were talking about it into the night. I slept on it, and I can't imagine what it's like to be in her position. Like, I'm upset to a certain degree. Okay, for my other retailers, but if it was me, I'd be flaming pissed. I'd be on the phone to DC. I'd be ripping Batman comics off the shelf. I'm an emotional person when it comes to that stuff. And I've done that stuff before. I would cancel titles out of just pure irritation. What I would do is, like, the titles I took a chance on, I would just cut all those sales off immediately. I think DC is going to make this stuff returnable. Okay. So that's partially okay. The problem is, and DC is going to take a huge hit for this. This was just a dumb move. So I don't know how it got this far. Like how I don't know if this was purely like weaponized Nerdrotic said this was subverting expectations. I think it was more than that. I think Tom King went with the story and maybe marketing hadn't heard about it and they found out about it, went, whoa. You cannot have Batman marrying somebody. No. Now, I don't know if that was it. I'm racking my brain. Other than Tom King was given creative immunity, like he can do whatever the fuck he wants. And then somebody at the last minute went, no, because this has happened before. All right. With Batman Hush, this has happened before, where Hush was supposed to be Jason Todd, pissed a lot of people off. So they flip-flopped it. That's the rumor anyway. And there's a lot of evidence of that. There was delays. They extended the series. I was owning a shop at the time. I wish they would have made him Jason Todd, to be honest with you. And they eventually did. But yeah, there's a lot of blame to spread around on this one. I don't know what's going on, but I know like not big in victimhood, but the comic shops they're in a bad way right now. They're in a real bad way. And they're not getting helped out from Marvel, and DC has been their one shining light, the one constant they can go to and get quality stuff. And, DC is really good with fans, with comic shops. That's why this is so dumbfounding. Like, why would you do this? And then I saw Tom King's tweet. We don't do Twitter drama, and I understand why he was trying to like stem the tide a little bit. But he just, to paraphrase what he said on his tweet, he was like, "Hey, the book's out. All the answers are in there. If you have questions, they're in there, and here you go." So it wasn't really attacking fans or anything. It was just like, hey, it was reading between the lines. I don't want to deal with this shit. I don't, Feisty, again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he expected the blowback that he's going to get, and he's gotten. And I even suggested that he take a Twitter vacation because, we're even, and by the way, comic shops are going to be open on July 4th, a national holiday, like Feisty is saying. Yeah, we're being open on a national holiday, banking on sales from this book. Well, we may be closed now. I know a couple of shops here locally are not going to be open now. I don't think the choice is the corner or crap that's false dichotomy something can be the culture force and good. Good that it's anti-merit, got you, Dalton. Sorry, I'm a horrible reader. I will say this again. I don't think the only choice is the corner or crap that's a false dichotomy, something that could be a culture force and good. It's the anti-merit ideology that's the problem. Absolutely, Dalton. Absolutely. And that it'll correct itself. But will it be too late? That's people we know are doing reviews of Batman 50 on YouTube already, embargo or not. Yeah. Well, and once the New York Times blew it open, they fucked over any chance this book would have had, because Brian Hibbs, who the guy who bought my store, is the first person who made me aware of it on Facebook, just on a public post. Who is a 100% DC backer. All right. He loves freaking DC. We'll back them up till the end of time. He's a good guy. He's a guy who looks out for retailers, was flaming pissed. He came back and said, listen, I read the comic book. The comic book's good. It's a good comic book. It's a good story. It just doesn't end with a goddamn wedding, as that's what people said. And Feisty put it out there like, hey, isn't this false advertising? I would say yes. The embargo on reviewing from who? Like, who's embargoed? Like, so you're embargoed if you're a shop, Feisty? I mean, because they can't stop me from reviewing. They can't stop anybody from reviewing. The embargo would probably just mean you don't get shit early anymore. And here's a promise I can absolutely make you on this channel. I don't want to see stuff early. I don't have time to see stuff early. I don't want free stuff. I don't need free stuff. Yeah. The only thing I could buy my vote with is cash money. No, I'm just kidding. Whose fault is it here? New York Times for spoiling the issue, or Tom King for giving blue balls to the readers? Mako. It's both. Shame on the New York Times for spoiling it. And but more importantly, the hoodwink from DC. They knew this was happening. They knew they were going to do this. I don't understand. I want to hear. I think at the very least, retailers, but I absolutely think fans are entitled to some sort of an explanation. I haven't looked on Twitter. Feisty, has he given an explanation? Oh, review websites. Thank you, Feisty. Yeah, it would probably be best if the review websites didn't do that, because they would lose their access. And it is good to have that access. I just don't need it. I don't care. Guess what the internet self-publishing bar is going to be lower, though. Comics will carve out a niche, but comic shops may not survive, says Nigel Broad Savage. Yep. And without comic shops, you don't really have a comic book industry. Now, you will have comic strips, web comics, passion comics, but your quality will go down. We're already losing artists. I was talking to I can't give out name, but I was talking to an artist on Saturday in the comic shop I go to, and he was talking about like how we haven't seen JG Jones in a while because he's doing character design for video games and movies and stuff. And he's one of the best artists out there. So some of the best artists are gone doing other stuff. A couple of my artist friends are doing designs for video games and stuff and making a lot more money and not working in comics anymore. If you're ever wondering, like, hey, where's that guy? He was good. He's working someplace where he's making more money. He has, but Tom King, has to make a public statement before I can say what he had told me. Okay. Agreed on that one. I think I don't know if honestly, I don't know if it'd help him at this point. It might be best to just walk away. Sometimes with YouTube videos, if you know they're going to be the way they are, you just put them out there and you don't read the comments for a couple days. You just let it build a little bit, get some distance, and then go back in there with a little less emotions involved. And then you can answer the comments without attacking anybody. I think it's the same way. I think with Twitter, it's like maybe, Tom King knew this stuff was coming. But as I tweeted at him, I mean, this was a little mean, but I was emotional too. But I tweeted at him like, we do not choose the moments that define our careers. But this is his. I have no doubt in my mind, just knowing what I know about comics and my experience in the industry and just being a fan, like this is what, like when you say Tom King from here until the end of time, this is the first thing that's going to hit your brain. It's not going to be Vision. It's not going to be Mr. Miracle. Okay. It's going to be the Batman and Catwoman non-wedding. What's cheaper though, having to pay for a paper comic or running a subscription Patreon run comic web and dealing with the server traffic, etc., which you can monetize through adverts? I mean, on the surface, it's okay. Of course, the Patreon is cheaper, but you are relying 100% on. So you're not only relying on the person making the comic, unless you're making the comic. I think it balances out. So yes, the Patreon is cheaper if like I'm a creator and I put stuff out there. Problem is, it's still third party. I'm still relying on Patreon, and I have to hope that they don't raise their prices on me, take more money, and they will. So what hopefully can happen, which doesn't really happen a lot. I don't know why people don't do this. Some people do, but not a lot of people take advantage of this. Like if I had 1 million subscribers, I would just start my own website and try to get as many people over there as I could. And because I would make so much more money because I would be cutting out YouTube, which, even with 1 million subs and you started your own website, you lose at least half of them, probably more. But I don't know why more people don't do that, but you're still relying on, like here on YouTube, I'm relying on YouTube. I'm trusting YouTube. I don't have that much trust. I just don't. I think with the shop, because with my next one, the plan is to own the building. So that makes a big difference. And I don't like, I had a great situation with the landlord last time. Like we were friends, we knew each other. And we were always very respectful of each other. He always visited my kids and stuff like that. And he was a sweet old man. Yeah. Okay. So I can tell you, since the shop's not there, he charged me $1,000 a month. So I started out at $850 a month. And when I sold the store, it was $1,050 a month over 10 years. So yeah, sweetest old guy in the world. That's what Philip DeFranco is doing. That's right. There's another guy out there who does it too. Yeah. Alex Jones. He makes a lot of money. But I don't know who else does. I don't know. I only watch like smaller YouTubers. So I like the ones I can interact with. I watch Feisty Fan. I watch Comics Division. I watch the biggest ones I watch are World Class Bullshitters and Midnight's Edge. They're my favorite podcast. But I subscribe. I just watch the people in our community, Dalton, stuff like that. Philip DeFranco has Patreon support. Yeah, Patreon support is great. Super chats are great. Super chat, they take a huge chunk. Of course, Doomcock. I am a patron of Doomcock. I am a legionnaire. Nihilist Shadow, yes. I've decided on my ministry, by the way. It's kind of pretentious, but I'm the minister of source material. I don't know, unless it's taken already. And if it's taken, then I'll just be, I don't know, the minister of good taste. I don't know. Not that I have good taste. Or the minister of avocados. That's what I'll be, the minister of avocados. Me and your 5 videos. You got to start somewhere, Feisty fan. The first year we were in existence, we did like 3 videos. Casey Nestate is doing okay with 6 million subs with no Patreon. Yeah, with 6 million subs, Doug, they're probably making $100,000 a month on with AdSense. Easy. Guacamole, yes. Where's I missed Doug 34's. What? What Doug 34? What could you have done to get banned by the bullshitters? I thought they were live and let live. I mean, I've seen you in here. Oh, you picked on Cecil. Cecil's there to be picked on. Doug 34. But that is, you know what? Did they block you in the chat? Because not in defense of them, but sometimes you can click the wrong thing. If I like highlight your chat right there, I can accidentally block you. I did that done that to a couple people. I thought Cecil can handle it. Oh, you were drunk. Well, so is Cecil. Doomcock was great on their show. He was so good. He was a huge hit, by the way. Doomcock is dominant, man. He just he gets on and takes shit over. That's just the way he is. I can't wait for him to do some live streams. I hope I have helped him a little bit in feeling more comfortable with live streams. You need to get a Dr. Doom action figure before I really respect you. Who's that? Me? I have one. Okay. Where is it? Where did I put it? Is it on the ceiling? Is it up? I thought it was up there. Oh, it's around here somewhere. Oh, I think it's around that corner. It's right behind the TARDIS. I can't go pick it up right now. I have multiple Dr. Doom action figures. I'll display it though, so you can see it. They blocked me for sure. Went back to check. Well, not that they listen to me, but I'll put in a good word. I'll just say, bring back Doug 34. Like every 5 minutes, they'll probably block me. Do you Doug, do you subscribe to Doomcock? Because maybe we can get Doomcock to change their minds. Freaking Cecil. Doombots. No, the love is gone. Okay, I understand that. That's lame getting blocked. Especially when you're supposed to be, I don't know. What is the Expanse week in review, Gary, says Mako. Okay. So I wanted to look into their ratings, see how they did post the Saving the Expanse series. Let me get to that website. I had the damn thing pulled up and now it's gone. TV series finale. Thanks for bringing that up. I'll probably have to still, I throw up a title and then I end up changing it when we actually talk about stuff. But okay, so this is our final talk about season 3. I went back and I've watched the finale a couple of times now, and I think it's really, really good. I liked it more every time I watched it. And I think there was really something they really hinted largely at something at the very end when they were going through the ring at the end, and it looks like Holden's going through some water, and there's like an in-between section, and you just see a little blue explosion in there. That is a strong hint for something to come. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but the fact that they did that tells me that they're going to follow through on it. So, God, there's a couple of things they've hinted on throughout the season that if you're book readers, you know what I'm talking about, which I'm not going to say specifically, that proves that they're going to do some of the a little more bold storyline. Okay. To make sense. It's going to get full on space opera after this. But I am curious what those overnight ratings were after post our whole saving the expanse and everything. Did it die down? Did people did they get excited again? What's funny is I had a couple people tell me that after episode 10, that's where they thought it ended. They were surprised to hear that there was like, essentially 3 more episodes. They're like, what? There's more? I'm like, yeah. And they changed their mind. I understand why they did it. The 2-part at the end, if they, cause there was 2 pretty long setup episodes for the end, that people can argue about that I loved. Cause it was just more fucking Drummer. Drummer was amazing. My MVP for the season was Drummer. Okay. She was the best thing for season 3, the highlight of season 3. And it looks like they're, I don't know. God, there's so much shit I can't say. She has a future in the books. All right. That's very exciting. And I can't wait to see that. So word on the street, it is going to be a year. Okay. Not 9 months like it usually is. It's going to be a year. And here are the ratings that they aren't spectacular. Okay. But I think once things get to Amazon, it's going to change for sure. So we started out, and the ratings were not, fantastic. I'm going to make sure I'm in season 3. Okay. Season 3. And that's when we noticed, even as Susan had brought it up to me, that's his signs of trouble. And I had heard a little bit. And then we got the announcement, right? And it pops up a little bit. So we're about halfway through, and then we got the announcement. 5/16 was when it got canceled. It popped up again. And then for 3 weeks, they're very strong ratings, like over 500,000 viewers. Everything was up, and then it dipped a little bit, but, dude, look at that, that finale rating right there. That is what I'm talking about. That it's freaking a 0.7. So that went way up, and that's overnight. So that is people could have dipped out at this point. After the whole, the saving the expanse was over, they were done. They did not dip out. They came that was a great number. And I can't imagine. So 3 days out, 7 days out, we're getting into the 2 to 3 million people watching episode. That's enough for Amazon to take this places. So I definitely think we're getting more than 4 seasons now. I wasn't sure. I'll be honest with you. I wanted to see how these things played out, and I thought we were just going to get maybe 1, maybe 2. I am completely confident we'll get at least 7. Bezos said seasons. I believe him. But that strong ending right there on a network that basically fucked us all over for multiple shows. Okay, let's not just forget this. I'm still pissed at him for Battlestar Galactica. Okay. They were essentially pushed out. Farscape back in the day, they've done some really stupid things. What they're doing at 12 Monkeys right now is ridiculous, so yeah, F Sci-Fi. And, one of my friend's shows is on that network. Happy. And, I'm worried about it too. I've even told him, I said yeah, this is shit I can't talk about. We'll just say that he probably agrees with our feelings about the network. Okay. So how did you guys like season 3 overall? It was different having Doomcock on for the recap. The way we do recaps, it's very hard to jump in and just do that. Okay. So he did a fucking fantastic job. Unfortunately, he had mic problems, but that shit happens. I've had problems, with mics too. Overall, I'm really glad he came on, had a lot of fun, because it is tough to do the regular format that we do. So, because it's play-by-play. That's what it is. So Dennis is the play-by-play guy,
and I do the color commentary. Was that Flash? So that's our format. That's how we do things, and it's a lot of practice, and it's from a lot of fucking up. We did a lot of fucking up. I'll be honest, when we started this thing, I've never had a problem talking. It's pretty clear. I don't have a problem talking. I'm a very talkative person. Thank God for fucking YouTube. But Dennis is not. Dennis is measured. He's not a chatty Cathy. He loves geekdom. Like he's a level 11 nerd. I mean, he plays card games and stuff like that. I'd say his like as full on nerds go, he's probably a couple of notches higher than me as far as like being a straight up nerd. In all the good ways, by the way. But he's, we'd start out a lot and it would be like, Dennis, what'd you think of this? It was good. It just took him time. Now, Dennis is not a fan of talk radio. He's not a fan of chat shows or anything. This is all shit that I'm a fan of. I've been listening to talk radio since I was a kid. Doug, who may still be in the chat, we used to do a fake radio show. We used to do this stuff. So I'm really glad this happened. It's been a good calling or whatever. Dennis required, some cultivating. So we developed the note system. So he would basically tell us what's going on with the show notes. I say us, it was supposed to be Dennis, me, and John on each one. Didn't turn out that way, but that's okay. And so Dennis would do the play-by-play, and then I would pop in with basically, just my thoughts on everything. And that's how it went. And it really has turned into something fun and something we now like barely need our notes at this point. And Dennis has really gotten comfortable in his position. I love how it works, but it's tough to jump in on. To ask Mary, was that Flash the proto molecule following Holden because he still has the ship, or Miller? Maybe it was Miller a little bit, but I don't think it was all the proto molecule. I think it was, but it was also hinting to, all right. So I want you to remember this. And this is a question that's not answered. Okay. So this isn't a book spoiler. Okay. Cause we don't know the answer to this question. They mentioned there was a civilization, and it's gone now. It's gone. It's just completely disappeared. And it destroyed a solar system trying to figure out or trying to defend itself. And that was all in the episode. So think about that. Sci-fi can't be trusted with good science fiction show. Simple as that, says James Hayes. Yes, it is. I have trust issues with them. Viking Betch says, I like season 3 of Expanse. I loved it. As things stand now, I can't choose between Expanse. The Expanse, the Legion, and Counterpart are the 3 best things I've seen this year so far, by far. And that's counting movies, TV, everything. Is Doomcock a character, or is he real, or is that his real voice? I am so confused, but yet entertained. Doomcock is real. I think Doomcock is actually 2 people. The heavyset guy from Jersey voice and something else who appears in the video. Is he a guy from Jersey? Yeah, I didn't even catch that. Is there an accent in there? I don't think Doomcock's from Jersey. Sorry for the silence here. I'm reading ahead for some chats. We're going to be wrapping this thing up shortly. Hey, if anyone wants to look at my baby girl, check it out. Oh, like, what the fuck? Do we have did I just read something I shouldn't have read? Your baby girl. Yeah. Don't check that out. I don't know if that's good. Mods, please take a look at that. I can't look at that. I could be something cool. That's fine. There's a glob of proto molecules still on the ship from the proto monster attack. It uses that to communicate with Holden, says Andrew G. Yeah, it's from Mr. Vane. I just don't know. Because of Legion, The Expanse, and Counterpart, I am spoiled from all the other shows. Viking Beach, I am too. It is really hard, really, really hard to go back and watch Cloak and Dagger when you've seen those three shows. And it's here's the open conundrum that we have with the YouTube channel. YouTube channel is what have you done for me lately? All right. So we have to continue doing stuff to keep minutes watched, to keep being recommended, but I don't want to keep doing stuff just for the sake of doing it. All right. We need to cover stuff that people like, that we like. And that's going to be hard to find in the summer. And that's just a reality. We went through this last summer too. We did, where we just ended up covering The Tick, which we loved and nobody watched. But that's the way it is. I love Counterpart. I've been following them on Twitter. Everyone that you didn't see die is coming back. That's brilliant. I heard it's 2 years in coming back, but I hope that's wrong. I hope it's next year. Don't give away too much information. The 12 monkeys are looking for him. That's right. I gave up on Cloak and Dagger, says Feisty Fan. Can't wait for Counterpart season 2, and neither can I. Nope. They start showing in February. Okay, that's good. Thank God. Ray Rain says, I love The Tick. It's how I found your channel. Hey, you're one of the people who watched. That's awesome. Yeah, The Tick was great. That was great. I think that's how Viking Bitch came along too. Cloak and Dagger, even season 2 of Luke Cage, are trying to do superhero show with no powers too much. And I love The Tick. What a great show. Says Stun the Mobot. Yep. Yeah. I don't understand the direction with Cloak and Dagger. Could be like, you could have a lot of supernatural fun. Like, I think like you could do Buffy kind of shit with that show, and you're doing like boring ass teenage drama. And listen, teenage drama or not, I have to watch Cloak and Dagger because of the wife. So Love Pond, I will have to watch so many shows like that. That's cool. There you go. Skirts and twerk, says Rough Girl. Yeah. I gave up on Cloak and Dagger as well. What a snore, says David Hill. Yeah, we're done with it. We're definitely done. And it looks like the people are kind of out too. We're not getting a lot of views on the video. We're not getting a lot of views on the Preacher one too, which is a bummer, but I'm going to keep doing that because I like Preacher. And yeah, nobody cared about Luke Cage, but yeah, who knows? People like watch the hell out of our Lost in Space review. So it's just hit or miss. Good. The thing that might keep us going through the summer is Netflix is just coming out with so much shit. We'll just cover it all. Maybe that's what we'll do. And we're going to do retrospective. So I'm Preacher does rock, David Hill. Overall, it rocks. I'm definitely going to do the David Hill thing, the Doctor Who thing. Yeah, it's time to slow down. I'm losing my brain here. Plus, I have to get to Sausalito and hang out with my wife. So there's going to be another one though, folks. Do not fear. We're going to do one on 4th of July. It's going to be a little earlier because I'm going to some parade. So I need to figure out when I'm going to the parade, but I think it's going to be probably 10:30 Pacific time, which will be 1:30 Eastern. I'm allergic to Cloak and Dagger. Broke out in anger. Yeah, I figured out what scene it was. You and I got pissed for 2 different scenes, but I so understand why. Once I started thinking about it, the scene you got pissed off at, I got pissed off again. But I got pissed off at an earlier scene. I got really pissed off. I was like, oh, fuck you guys. What about show on canceled stuff? Legend of the Seeker. Legend of the Seeker I did like. I maybe, but we've got, Dalton, we've got enough stuff you can jump on. Plus, Doctor Who is something I know and love, like in and out. So yeah, I can cover that one confidently. Yeah, so we're gonna I believe Netflix is pumping out too many shows, says Agent Future. Yeah, it is. Oh, so much are getting lost in the shuffle. Like everybody's forgotten about Luke Cage by now. So yeah, Babylon 5, Stargate, some classic science fiction that we know is good that I'd be very confident talking about. Has there been any talk about season 2 of American Gods? Asked Ray Rain. Yes. They just completed filming episode 5, and then they fired and then they lost the creator. Or no, not a creator. Who they fired? They fired somebody. I can't remember. But they just completed episode 5. Or an actor left. I can't remember what it was now. Let's real quick before I go. Let's see what that was. I loved American Gods season 1. Absolutely loved it. Turned me around on Brian Fuller. And let's see what the latest news is. So I don't think that's going to be out till early 2019. Oh, okay. It was just casting news. Okay, so it started production in April. Yeah, I'm not going to look at that. Forget Digital Spy. So it started production in April, and they just finished doing the 5th show, Ray Rain. So it's going to be out early 2019, and I can't wait to see it. It's great. I have got a large list of shit to do. Might as well do it this summer. We'll go fully experimentational on the channel. Okay. American Gods was good. Make my own show. Oh, we would have to invent more hours in the day, or I'd have to quit my day job. That might be fun though. You never know. Is there a second season of The Gifted coming? Yes, there is, Stun the Wobot. They just announced that September 25th is premiere date. They actually have some really cool promotional posters that are kind of like 3D-ish. They look really good. So yeah. All right. So I'm going to bail out now, guys. I've got to get going. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I'm going to start going down this list. Penn Farm Girl, Mary Ashmead, Stun the Wombat, Rough Girl, David Hill, Viking Bitch, Doug 34, James Hayes, Agent Future, David Hill, Penn Farm Girl, Viking Bitch, Dalton Morterer, Feisty Fan, Love Pawn, Ray Rain. If I repeat somebody, sorry. Philip A. Demick, Apple Crow, YouTube Vlog Life, the official Dougie J, Mako, and I think I'm running out of names. Thank you for the super chats, by the way, which were Mary Ashmead for $2, Agent Future $5, which, oh my God, I didn't. Agent Future, I'm so sorry. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I missed it. I like Tom King earlier works, like a Once Crowned Sky and Grayson. I like his stuff so much, Agent Future. I even understand why they didn't marry him. I actually kind of am down with the idea, but the whole like letting it get this far and costing the retailers thousands of dollars and hundreds of customers is I don't know why they did. I'm surprised. This coming out of Marvel, I would expect, but DC. So yeah, I don't know. I can't even make up an answer. None of it makes sense other than if you looked at it purely as storytelling, fine. But it goes beyond that. This goes you're affecting people's lives with this decision. So your little subversion of expectations this is kind of pushing things to an extreme, could close a store. Okay. And if you're cool with that, all right. Feisty Fan again for $1.99. The official Dougie J for $3.99, and Dakota Stanton earlier for $5. So thank you for the super chats. Again, apologies to Agent Future that I missed that. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So Mary loves the Monday chats. So thank you again. I forgot to read that one too. Gary, I love the Monday chats. Your chats rock. You guys rock in the chat. I am just here hanging out with you guys. And I had a lot of fun today. Sorry I didn't talk about the Expanse that much. We talked about, and also I have to change the title, but we were all over the place, but I had the best time. This is so much fun. I could do this for hours and hours. And believe me, I would make this a 5-hour one if I didn't have to bail right now. So, and a brown comic book reader. Didn't want to, sorry, I missed you, buddy. So thank you very much again, everybody in the chat. The patrons, the new patron video will be up tomorrow with the corrected names. We did get a couple new patrons, and I want to thank you very much. I will be in communication with you. Dennis is feeling better. Dennis will be back. Maybe we'll have him on Wednesday during the day if he's got time. We can just do a day stream with Dennis. If not, then we're gonna in the evening we're gonna try to do tentatively 12 Monkeys is going to be our next show we're covering, which will be Wednesday night. We're going to do a Monday morning live stream on 4th of July that you guys can have in the background of your picnic or whatever. And thanks. Hey, and I was close to the start time. So, and the start time for Wednesday will probably be like 11:30. Thank you very much. I will have a very nice vacation. Yes, Preacher is worth watching. Not Cloak and Dagger, though. Not Cloak and Dagger. All right, everybody. My voice is dying. I love hanging with you guys. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and check out all the other stuff. Check out Feisty Fan. Please subscribe to her channel. She is a great person and a lot of fun. Check out Dalton. And Dalton, what is your channel name again? It is I'll look it up. I'll look it up real quick. I got time. I forgot. It should be called Dalton, dude. I know it's got a name. I can't find it out, but sorry, Dalton. I don't have time to find it. I got to get going. So I'll plug you next time. You guys are great. You have a great day, and we'll see you on the 4th of July. And everybody have a great Monday. All right. May the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Take care.